Hey, what's up everybody? It is my last class I've been teaching here at Baruch College for the semester of fall 2018. It's been an amazing class. We're going to videotape some of it as well. I'm getting the students a little buttered up right now with some snacks right before they fill out the teacher evaluation. This is the room that I've been using. It's been a great room. I was transferred here from the other building, which is more modern. So I guess when you're a new professor, they bounce you around. If they need the computer lab, they'll say, hey, we need the computer lab and we're gonna use it. And they did. Looks like it's 6:15. Oh no, class starts at 6:15. So I'm 15 minutes early, which is nice because I get to have a couple minutes with you guys. I wonder if this was a good... So some of the key things that we learned this semester in customer relationship management, I should probably pull it up on the board, but the main thing is no matter how much of a, this doesn't work, no matter how much technology is more and more apparent in the world that we live in, the need, in my opinion, for a human touch or human interaction is that much more apparent. So sending handwritten thank you notes, getting out there and meeting your clients, whether it's for dinner or in person for lunch or coffee, that human touch with a bit of empathy is going to actually give you a deeper connection, stronger connection to your potential customer, which will allow you to flourish. We can dig into all the CRM, client or customer relationship management software programs that are out there today. But I advise and caution everybody to make sure that they're not getting too lost in that, because there's so much that you can do on a personal note that will separate you. How many emails do you get, for example, on a daily basis? Hundreds, right? Or at least I do. So what happens in that situation, when you get so many emails, is that you start to lose track and you don't really care, right? It's watered down. There's too much being put out there. So what we've been saying in this class is how many people here or listening right now have received a thank you card or a handwritten note of some sort within the last 30 days? I see one person over there. I see another person over here. So there's about, what, 10% of you guys? 10%? So yeah, basically everyone receives hundreds of emails a day or a week. But on a monthly basis, what are we talking about? For handwritten notes, not much, right? Not many people receive it, so that's a great way for you to stand out. Plus, we want to get into developing a relationship with the contact in person, understanding where they're coming from, what drives them, what are the key motivators behind their decision-making process. All that stuff can be sourced with the right questions when you meet them in person. So it's a big push that I'm having. The more we become more technologically based, the more we should be aware of where that's taking us, and simply bring us back to where we all started from, which was the human interaction portion of it. So what I wanted to show you here was that if you're a student of mine, you're going to be getting a handwritten thank you note, but you're also going to be getting a pair of Rock the Vibe glasses, which are fantastic because they're getting to see real time what it means to be somebody who's in my sphere, my contact. And I hope that they're going to learn from that and be able to, A, give me a good teacher evaluation, just joking, and B, have some of these treats and refreshments, because you know what? It was an amazing semester, and I'm super excited that we got to spend time together, everybody. Baruch College has been amazing to me. I really enjoyed my time speaking and getting to know all of the different students who are in class, all from international backgrounds and with a wide range of expertise and industry knowledge. And I've learned so much. I mean, as much as, you know, I'd love to say that I'm here to teach being in a professor role, I've learned so much from my students, and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, and hope to continue this with Baruch in the future. Anyway, this is what the beginning of my last class looks like. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm super pumped about it. So we got class, the clock is right here. We start class in about 10 minutes. Everyone comes a little bit late. It's part of the process, but either way, thanks for enjoying the journey, following me, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't manage your customers, you can't manage your business, all right? Let's make sure that we have it very dialed in for everything that we're doing next year in 2019. All right, we're going to talk about, so it's the last class, okay? So because it's the last class, I'm going to give you guys, and you've already heard it, Joel, so I'll give it to you again, the story of how I became a professor here. So I know Kiki's really excited to hear this story. So you know the podcast that I'm on, okay? Yes. So in that podcast, I started, what is it, 2018? Started in 2013. Okay, like April 2013, I got a call from this guy. He's like, hey, do you want to start the podcast with this guy named Vince? I said, absolutely, let's do it. So what happened, and this is a good story because it kind of tips on like everything that we've talked about. So this is in let me see if I can grab a marker that actually works. So in 2013, April, let's just say 4, okay, I was podcast. Okay? So that was my first podcast episode. I spoke at Baruch, and it was like in October of 2016. Okay? And afterwards, I met a couple of faculty here at Baruch, and they said, we should get you back for another guest lecture. And I was like, maybe we should do a little bit more than a guest lecture. I don't know, come teach a class or something, And they were like, yeah, okay, maybe, but let's keep you in mind for a guest lecture. Fast forward to today, so this is started in 2011, 2013, I started the podcast, 2014, I got some TV appearances because I showed up every time and I was reliable. Because of that, they invited me on a big panel where I was found by somebody here at Baruch. Then in 2016, I was invited to speak on a panel at Baruch. But every time, I've always kept in touch with Samantha. I would always write her an email, hey, how you doing? Just want to see if there's any lectures that you need help with. What's going on? So fast forward to today, 2018. I'm in the process of putting together another podcast with a professor of real estate finance at Fordham. Mm-hmm. His name is Francis Camaro. And I was speaking to him, and we're putting together this podcast, and his name is Frankie, I call him Frank. Frankie and I have known each other for a long time. And he said, I'm a professor at Fordham, and I said, I know, obviously. He's like, well, what I think you should do is, I think you should, get into academia, something that I'm doing. If we're both going to be on this thing together, you should, have that. And I said, it's really funny. I have this contact at Baruch. This was in August. I had no idea. Like, this is like, a couple months ago. So this is August. And he put it in my head. He said, you should do this. So I said, okay, no problem. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to email her and tell her that I'm dead serious. Because we had spoke earlier in the year, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. What about this in real estate? So it was more real estate kind of focus. And then in August, I wrote an email like, hey, I just want to let you know that I hope your summer's going super well. If you don't have anybody for any classes, or something is not the best, class isn't performing, I want to let you know that I am dead serious about being a professor this fall. Like, I made it super clear that I wanted to be a professor. She emailed me back with something in real estate, maybe we have this. And then she emailed me back. I was like, oh, this one's, someone else took it. So I'm like faced with, okay, no. This has been kind of going on, and I'm like, let me just keep pushing. So I just kept pushing it. Like, is there anything else now? Is there anything else now? Is there anything else now? And this went on for a couple weeks, and then she finally said in September, was like, I think I might have something. And that's when she called me about this class and said, do you have, 30 minutes or so to talk about, customer relationship management? I said, customer relationship management? I couldn't be more happy. So I had the new kid that's working with Samir. It's like his first day. So cute. Yeah, I was like, yo, it's my last class today. I was like, dude, I was there the first day. So basically what happened is I spoke to her in early September. She called me or call on the phone. First thing I do when I make calls to somebody or I'm speaking to somebody is I write their name. Wrote her name right at the top of a white board just like this. And I would say, Sam, I'm really happy that you brought that, because everyone loves to hear their own name. So if you could be saying the person's name, you should be saying it. A lot of times you forget, but I've also done like reality TV show pitches, these pitches, and I always write the people's name, and I'm like, John, Susie, this is why, it just sounds good, you should always do it. So I kept calling her Sam throughout. Sam, this is another really good thing that I think, the students at Baruch could benefit from. And I pitched this, and I pitched that, pitched this, and then she's like, wow, this all sounds really great. We should get you into Baruch to meet some of the other staff members and kind of do a little bit more of a formal thing. I said, fantastic. So I came in, I met everyone, I pitched them my ideas. I wore a pinstripe suit, let them know I wasn't joking around. Yeah, take me seriously. So I did it, and they knew I wasn't joking around, and they were like, pending your references, we'll give you this class. You have to come up with the syllabus and do this. And I was like, yeah, I can do all that, not a problem. So the first thing I did is I called my friend Frankie, and I said, Frankie, syllabus, I don't remember what this is. He's like, just do this and do that. And he gave me a couple tips and pointers. And then I just went on the internet and started putting it together. I made this PowerPoint right here that you see. Just made it on my own. I don't know. I just put it together. I did the research. I read some books. Went online and just put it all together and said, all right, this is how I think the organizational format of the class is going to go. And then just came in here and I probably spent every Wednesday between 2 or 3 hours. There's like a teacher's lounge here, and I'd just be in there working, trying to decide how I'm going to do the class. So yeah, look, it's a good idea of how something can come to fruition and happen. At the end of the day, it didn't just fall in my lap. I had to pursue it. I had to be the one going on the offensive and reaching out and following up and them saying no. And I'm like, that's cool. Just let me know. I'm here. Can I do it? I'm dead serious about it. You want to do a call? I'll pitch you. What do you want to talk about? Cut clients? Yeah, let's talk about that. You want me to come in? I'll wear a pinstripe. No problem. Pinstripe suit.
Question. So when you first got on Bloomberg, how did you feel? What was your experience? And let's say one day I get on Bloomberg, what was your feedback?
The first thing that I did when I can show you the videos. I have them. You can find them online. The first thing that I will tell you for being on national TV is that you don't want to be too serious. The first time I was on TV, I looked like I was going to kill somebody. I was like, I'm going to be serious. Put an American flag pin.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, talking about the market, and then the footage, it looked like I was a little too serious. Then the second one, it was kind of serious, and I'm like, so I needed to find a balance. I just haven't been on TV another time to be able to actually do that.
Got it. So just keep being you, in a way.
I would say so. Yeah, but don't try and be too much. By the way, it is scary. Fox is scary. They walk you down this black tunnel. First you do makeup. That's my favorite part.
It's your favorite part.
So, I'm just doing makeup right now, guys. So you do makeup, and they bring it. So Bloomberg is glass. Everything's glass. You can kind of see things. Fox is like you're in a cave, and you're like, where am I going next? And they walk you down like this black tunnel, and then like they take a right, and then it's like this like bubble, and this is where the TV show's going on. There's cameras everywhere. There's 5 or 6 cameramen, the guys there who I see on TV all the time. Walked up to him like, how you doing? He was like, so these are some of the questions I'm gonna ask you. And then in the background I see like, it's like Obama speaking. And then they're like, and in 5! And I'm like,
4.
oh my God. So I'm like just talking to the guy, it's like, so people are seeing our president of the United States. And then it's like, 3, 2, 1. Varney and Co. The guy's like, we're cutting to Nile, Lundgren, I'm down in real estate. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Swear to God. Swear to God. You guys want to see it? Yeah, why not? Let's see if I can do it. Nile, Lundgren, Fox News.
Here's a good question. Who is buying up
It's hilarious. Look at how serious I look.
houses in America? Not always Americans. Joining us is Nile Lundgren with Dalian Real Estate. He knows the story. Now, you're telling us that it is
Oh, you is so bad.
crowding out American buyers, like in the New York market, for example, or some of the other metropolitan areas of the United States. But give me some numbers on this.
92 billion in terms of foreign
It's
investment.
92 billion. It's the first thing I said, 92 billion.
$92 billion cash real estate in the United States, of which how much of that 92 billion came from China?
About 22 billion from China, particularly. That's 24% of the total international investment.
Okay, who's second in line after the Chinese?
I believe it's the Canadians in terms of sheer volume, and then we have Brazilians and Russians as well.
Well, I thought Russians were right up there.
Well,
Europe.
they've gone a little quiet since the Ukraine crisis.
Okay, now, you're telling me that they're crowding out Americans, making it difficult for Americans, even Americans with money, to buy good real estate.
Yeah, Americans want to obtain, there's cheap debt, they want to obtain housing currently. And right now they're losing out in bidding wars to international investors who are trying to park cash in America.
Do these foreigners, do they buy with cash, all cash?
They buy with all cash, which is more attractive to the seller, so it hurts domestic Americans trying to achieve the American dream of home ownership.
I'm a Yankee. I have to go get a mortgage. The foreigner walks in with all cash, gets the deal.
Yep, that's what happens.
Do you expect this to continue?
I do. I see it happening. 92 billion, right? Total cash investment. That's a 35% increase from the year before. So I don't see it stopping. It's certainly
That's
increasing.
interesting. So that's a huge increase just in the last year.
Yeah.
There's a trend that goes straight up. Now, why would this be?
Yes.
Why would Chinese firms be the big buyers here?
I think they're looking to get the money out of China. You know, there's a little bit of shakiness in the economy, and I guess New York and America in general is a very safe place to park your money, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, it's a vote of confidence in the United States, right? It's a vote against China.
I
Of course. So I'm not suggesting for
12
we
times.
don't want this.
I can't.
I'm simply saying that there is maybe a downside to it in that you're crowding out homegrown buyers. Look at you. Wait. Didn't you make some money in Chinese real estate and bring it over here?
No, I worked very hard as a foreign correspondent for many years, working 7 days a week. And yes, I brought that money back and I used it to put down payment on an apartment here in Nile.
So
was that bad?
No.
I'm pretty happy
No,
about
I'm all for it. You run a business.
Yeah.
100% depends on this kind of thing.
Yeah, I work on both sides. I work with domestic and international buyers.
You don't care whose money it is or where it comes from.
Hey, it's a deal's a deal.
Is business good?
Business is good.
Because of those Chinese?
Yeah, it's continuing to rise.
Nile Lundgren, Dalian Realtor, got it right?
Yes, correct.
Thanks for joining us, Tom.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Little like, oh my God, I'm on TV right now.
Do they actually get it, right? Do they get these dollars?
They're just list prices. We don't know if they're actually going to get the number until we see the transaction close. So it's a big mystery. It's going to be very interesting to see where that unit for 130 million will actually trade.
What is the largest transaction?
A little bit more calm. Excuse me, I'm trying to watch myself on Bloomberg. I want to talk to those kids. So I'm talking about a $130 million penthouse when I have no idea what's going on. What do I talk about? China.
If you compare it to Monaco, where the penthouse of Tour Odeon is $400 million, if you compare it to the penthouse of One Hyde Park that's over $200 million, these prices are in the realm of the global market. Wealth rights in the realm of Manhattan are at the extreme ends.
The 520 Park itself is a building that's commanding quite a premium per square foot. So is there something to be inferred about the overall real estate market here? Any sense that maybe it's perhaps at a high that's too developed?
Developers are building, they're buying sites and they're building because there is a market for it. So I think that they can do it. They're here to Nile.
It's a global issue, right? Okay, so
Global super rich.
China leads the way over there in the economy, the real estate market.
alright, so these $100 million properties, they're sitting
So much more than you requested.
See how I'm smiling? I shouldn't do the tongue lick either. Not when you're on TV. Too big of a smile.
I think you were good. I don't see anything wrong.
I'm just being hypercritical.
I think that's what's
If you
happening.
want to be excellent, you gotta be hypercritical of yourself. Why am I using my tongue right here? Be calm. Anyway.
Today, I'm a boss. I have the power to have a business that I
Sorry?
I
I think the guy who, Mr. Dyson, I think it just traded. That was like 4 years ago, it was that, because it was announced when it was gonna come live, but it was still holding around. Now the building is built, and I think it was bought for the guy who invented the vacuum, Tyson vacuum, for like 75 million, something like that. Back then, prices were so hot. They were like, oh, it's gonna be 130, but no.
Do you think the accuracy of the estate was going down a little bit, like the property?
Just a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
So how many super tall towers are there at Central Park South? A lot. A lot of inventory.
Yeah.
So prices have to go down because people have options.
So when do you think is the best time to buy
Now,
now? I think it's keep like going down last year.
this is what happens, is that people
Probably just location.
people read the news, right? But the news isn't always accurate. I
Yeah.
don't always trust the news. Because the news, they're looking to sensationalize things and look for headlines. The fact is that they're just coming around to the fact that it's a buyer's market now. Oh, it's a buyer's market. I was telling my buyers that it was a buyer's market a year ago. Now's the right time. Interest rates are still low, and there's a ton of inventory to negotiate with. Once these rates go up, it's gonna be harder, because you're not gonna be able to buy as much, because interest rates make you have a higher monthly payment. So, right now is the time. Like in the next 6 months, I think is the best time, because what's gonna happen is this, all these buyers are now gonna start reading the news and say, oh, it's a buyer's market. And then they're all gonna go from the sidelines to back in the game, which is then gonna take all the inventory and shrink it. And then you're gonna have less negotiability. So in the next 6 months is the key time. Because you always find out about the bottom after, right? So it's always important to like read the news, but also understand or speak to a market expert to really know what's going on. So in my opinion, I'm advising my buyers that now's a very strong time. And you can argue that, you know, interest rate, that if you wait longer, it could be better. But I know that most of the apartments that I'm bidding on with my buyers are getting big discounts right now.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how
So
long
what
it's
happens
gonna-
if the buyer wants to buy like in all cash? Do they have like strong negotiation power?
Are you telling me you're an all-cash buyer, Jing Jing? Well, if you
no,
are,
like
we will go in with guns blazing. I mean, bank statements blazing.
No,
We'll
my
do it.
friend got me like apartment last year in Upper East, and the price I don't think he can sell it in margin. Like he got it like $800,000 in one bathroom part in First Avenue, 61st Street.
Good.
Yeah, and
On First Avenue?
I think it's First or York.
At the Claire? No.
First Avenue, 61st Street.
Northeast corner?
Kind of. Like
Part of the Claire.
only like 8 floors or it's not the full building.
Well, it's right near the bridge.
Yeah, that's right. And then we can see the cable car too.
Yeah, I know what building it is.
I think
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All these people that, were reading the news, they're like, oh, it's, I don't know. There's always a lag. So he was probably reading the news, like, oh, it's a good time to and he bought it, and then it was going down already. Now is a good time because people are saying, oh, it's going down now. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's been down.
And also in your city, do you think one bedroom is more worth it taking a studio for investment standpoint?
Studios are the most, if you're looking at a population set of apartments, there's more studios than any other apartment. And 1 bedrooms, then 2 bedrooms, then 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, those are rare. So we're more in the studio 1 bed. I think 1 bed, in my opinion, we have a better opportunity for a better cap rate.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of close at a similar price range, maybe just a little bit more, but because it's a 1 bedroom, you can command a higher rental price. Yeah,
So all these talks of recession, obviously see the stock market going down. And always recession talks. Do you feel like that would negatively impact real estate values?
I think so. I think there's a couple factors you have to look at in real estate. It's like New York City real estate, and then like the rest of America real estate. You got to think about it. In the rest of America, it's like the same house after the same house after the same house after the same house after the same house in a neighborhood. It's all the same. New York is like on an island, so the land is finite, so it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
So prices can only keep going up.
The land is limited.
Land is limited. Yeah.
Just like Hong Kong.
Exactly. You could
Yeah.
What are they doing in Hong Kong, by the way? They're building a whole. Did they get approval to?
I think they have the so if you are not born in Hong Kong, you're a foreign investor, you have to pay 30% of the tax on real estate. And for
13%.
even you are Hong Konger, you cannot buy the second or third. If you are buying the second apartment, you need to pay 30% more. Second or third.
You have to what?
Pay 30% real estate tax.
What?
Even you're Hong Konger. They have it last year.
Bro.
Trust me. People used to for the liability standpoint, people used to set up their entity, the cooperation to buy. It's pretty cheap.
All right, let's talk real quick about the assignment. Do you guys want to just chat about it for a minute?
Sure.
So let's just talk. All right, we all know you had your specifics. Let's just talk about specifics, meaning what you specifically did for your assignment, how you communicated, etc. Do you think we could just kind of go around and just have a discussion about what you think some of the best practices are? Because it doesn't matter if you're in the food business or the real estate business, you're in the life business. And if you're in the life business, you have to treat every person that you come in contact with, to the highest degree, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. So I don't know if anybody wants to start and just kind of talk about what the classes kind of meant and how it has shaped your vision of what it means to manage a relationship with a customer or somebody who's not necessarily a customer.
I can start first.
Yeah.
So I put some point to my paper. I think so for.
Can I put the camera on here?
No.
And that's okay if you don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
I asked.
So for my understanding, I categorize classify my customer into 3 groups. One is existing investor, the second one is potential investor, the third one is new investor. So I also have a different approach how to maintain and obtain the investor. So for the existing investor, who I learned from the class and also from the book, so I wrote about it. So I will keep them updated by sending them the newsletter,
So every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and also I will keep them posted how the investment fund going and what kind of activity we are doing, and also keep them posted on the return of the portfolio we are doing. That's what I'm doing for the existing investor. So for the potential investor, I will keep keep in touch with them to let them know if there is anything I can assist with, and also let them know how market's going because you have to educate them and to let them know you are the best candidate. That's why they can commit the capital to your fund. So for the new contact investor, because you have to find some way to attract them, to find new investor. So there's a different ways, like you have to go to conference, you have to go to some panel, kind of stuff. And also I suggest the company host some free panel by inviting some big shot from financial world to get them some speech to educate the new investor. And also what else? Do some advertisement on some right channel. That's why rather than my paper, they also learn from the class.
Awesome. So that's gonna be, it seems like that's kind of how you would do, it's kind of what you're doing now. So that would be your plan, is that you would say, all right, I have 3 different, right? There's three different categories that you're booking people?
Yeah, before the class, I don't have exactly a plan, to split my client to 3 groups. So after the process system, I realized that it would be better if you classify your customer into 3 groups. So you know how to manage your time and also how to manage your relationship with them.
Okay, so at the beginning, before the class, there's no plan on how to.
Yeah, I know I have to find a new customer. I know how I have to maintain the relationship, but I don't really have the specific plan. I should do it 3 steps.
Okay, so then you have to create a process system, right?
Yeah.
But you did that by breaking it down to 3 separate groups.
Uh-huh.
One is a new customer.
Yeah, I haven't contacted them before. I don't know where they are.
Yep, no contact.
Mm-hmm.
But you could write a list of your
Of course.
perspective or what your ideal client would be. Remember when I showed you from my Excel spreadsheet last week? I said, there's a list of people. I know who they are. I haven't contacted them. They're going to be my new influencers. They just don't know it yet. They're already, you want to map it out and then methodically go after every single one of them one by one. But if you don't have it mapped out, it's all about project management and mapping what your intention is. If you're intentionally scattered, then you're going to get scattered results. But if you have it all dialed in, like what you're saying is you have a new group, a new customer group, and then what was the other one?
Potential investor.
Potential?
Have been following me for a while, so he know what we're doing.
So this is somebody who's interested in your product,
Yeah,
you showed a deal or two,
Yes.
you showed them a deal, they didn't
Yeah.
invest,
We have been in touch, catch
still
up.
talking.
Yeah, but not capital commitment.
So I'm writing, potential investor, someone who you're in talks with.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one is what?
Existing investor. You need to to let them keep putting money into your fund and also not draw out money from your fund. So you have to keep them happy. And also there's another good thing, they may or may not refer some new customers to you if you have a good relationship.
You know that's really funny? I'm really happy you brought that up, Jim, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Another thing that you can do here is you can approach, obviously maybe not in your specific business, but you can approach these people and say, hey, would you mind giving a testimonial? Because if somebody who's here, you're in talks with, right? And they might be on the fence whether they actually work with you or they don't, and then you show them a testimonial of what this guy said, that might get them over the edge. Maybe not in what you do, but in real estate, that would be really helpful to go to. I've had that. I've had people who are my potential clients, they say, I want to speak to somebody that you've worked with, and then I call an existing contact, and I say, hey John, it's been what is it, 2 years? Congratulations. And you have kids now? Oh my God, that's fantastic. Anyway, listen, I need you to speak to this guy.
It happens in my workforce as well. Sometimes you propose some term sheet to the new company and you want to invest in, they'll say, give me some reference, people I can talk to from your previous investment experience. So you CC them to your last transaction has done. So if you're doing good, they'll give you some good credit, this is the company you work with.
Good.
And also for existing client investor, it's not only, at the end of the day, that's what I realized recently. At the end of the day, it's not about business, it's all about relationship. I got a lot of good credit this year. They say, oh, Jessie's the good, like she's the best. Like, and then I got an email today, like there's a chairman of the listed company in Australia. She was like, hey Jessie, I want to pass you, like I want to introduce you my friend. He's also the chairman of another company. I think you guys can have some potential cooperation in the future because I know what you have done for my company. So yes, it's all about relationship.
I agree with you. That's why I put a big emphasis on the real tangible part of relationships, which is making the human contact, calling these people, writing the notes that you've got, getting the little cool gifts, whether it's sunglasses or what have you. But I think you pretty much summarized it up pretty well. Do you have these? I'm just curious. If you're going to use a system that's this specific, are you labeling them through, I don't know, a CRM software like HubSpot? Are you using them in Excel, or is it just labels on Gmail? How are you organizing that right now?
Gmail.
Are you using labels?
Yeah, I do.
Labels are great.
Yeah, and also some notes, like I take note from some important meeting, write down some name they mentioned so I can approach. And also for the new investor, there's another way to approach them through LinkedIn or Twitter because it's more easy if you tap the company.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's how this all started.
It's more like useful for finance because a lot of big figure in LinkedIn, so you can find them easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Does anyone have any questions for Jane?
Well, you mentioned with the testimonials how that may not be a good idea in the investment world. Why do you say that?
Which one?
In terms of testimonials not being such a good idea.
Test?
Testimonials.
I mentioned real estate. It's more like, hey, it's more out there. Finance is more like they don't really talk about things until it's like done. But I don't know. Are there testimonials in the financial world? Do you see testimonials?
I don't see why, unless it's like not legal. I don't see why. I think on a human nature marketing perspective makes sense.
It's probably true. The only thing that I would say that I've experienced with banks are that there's compliance. There's always, you gotta talk to legal about everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not in that world. I just know that like a couple of my close friends are bankers and they're in the industry, and it's like you can't do anything without being approved. It's crazy. Highly regulated. Real estate is like, don't kill anybody. Not that serious, but it's pretty loose. I think this is good. I think you touched on a number of the key points that we wanted to drive home, and I think if you can continue to focus on relationships with all three of these groups, with new people that you haven't even targeted yet, but you want to build a relationship, going at it with the intention of building a relationship. Once you get those people, treating them the same way and building relationships further. I have plenty of existing contacts and clients and customers that I'm working with that I still take out to breakfast, lunch, dinners, invite to events, etc. And it's always because I'm bringing them into my physical and personal relationship sphere, and then I'm introducing them to my friends, and the beautiful thing is when your customers have a relationship because of you.
Yeah.
That's when you really start to see magic and power.
Yeah, and also there's another thing I want to talk about, like when I was in school, like a 5 years ago, the first gift I got from my professor, it was business card. I didn't get the intern yet, but the business card, the title was the background was like school name. So this Jing student of the school. So I went to a conference in Philadelphia. The time was government shutdown, 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, around 2013. So I met the couple, the guy Michael. He was accountant from London, and I was being silly. Hey, this is my business card because I was so happy I got the first business card. And I was like, oh yeah, let's keep in touch. And I sent them some Christmas greeting, once in a while some greeting. And when the last year of Peru, when I was senior year in Peru, I really want to graduate students, and I got an email from the guy from Michael. He was like, hey, I got the opportunity opportunity for you. My friend, he got the company in UK and looking for intern. Are you interested to come to London during the summertime for intern? I was so like, I really want to go to UK, but I have to take the summer class in Peru because I want to like graduate before September. And I think there's another beauty of relationship. You will never ever know what happened, like people you met before and everything. I think that was amazing.
And you gotta follow up with everybody. I met a guy last night, he gave me his business card. He's like, "You gonna follow up with me?" Because you know most people don't. He like kind of said it like, "Are you gonna follow up with me?" I looked at him like, "I'm a professor, bro. I'm gonna follow up." I like walked out in my head. That's what I said in my head. But I walked outside, literally got right outside, got his card out, and emailed him 8 seconds after I met him. He hasn't even responded. Big game. Talk a big game, bro.
Yeah.
All right, good. That was awesome. Thank you for the insights, Jane. Kiki, do you want to just talk about your general idea? It doesn't have to be too crazy, just a conversation.
Well, actually, when all of this started, like creating the life cycle of our customer,
Sure.
I just came up with the characteristic of my ideal customer,
Yeah.
and then my customer became like a real character. So actually, at this point, I do believe that my Lorenzo actually exists. So I started being like with some bullet points, and I ended up writing like a novel of a story and things that were happening and taking place, and everything didn't went really great. We're not doing really great all the time, so I was giving myself a hard time by describing what Lorenzo.
Hey!
How are you?
You want some potato chips?
Yeah, of course.
All right, grab it quick. And then she's just in the middle of this thing.
Thank
Hey,
you.
and you can have one of these.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what the
Somehow
heck?
new. I have glasses.
And you have some glasses on your card.
Oh, that's cute. Thank you.
Wow.
Hey, one over here.
That's
No one's pink.
No, that was the same color.
This is
Yeah,
red.
it's-
Because I'm in love.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Nice and red.
We'll talk about that later. Kiki was just presenting.
The whole story is like
Yeah, hey,
the
put
book.
the shades on, and then tell the story.
to be the colors.
Can I change it for you?
Sure.
Yeah, you change it if you want. But let's let Kiki finish.
This really changes your perspective.
I know it does. Is this good? Or is it slanted? All right.
I love it.
All right. So what you were saying is that there's a life cycle.
I want to confuse you very much. What I did was the following. I created a character, I created the ideal customer
Cool.
with all the characteristics I wanted him to have. And then throughout the story, I was trying to improvise and challenge myself by having my customer give me a hard time. So I got a lot of no's, a lot of him me getting ignored by him. He didn't pick up the phone, he didn't answer my email. So
Happens to me all the time, by the way.
And that was the reality. That was me.
So before even going to the last class about the social media, I mentioned like in the second class that I added him in every possible social media. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything. So I had him ignoring my emails and I had him ignoring my phone calls. But it took him like 20 or 30 minutes to accept me on Instagram, on Facebook or whatever. And then I realized that that was the way to interact with him. But I did that in my second class, that's so fast. That's the reason why I had nothing to write on the finish of my story. So,
The way to interact.
I did everything. I said thank you notes. By researching about him, I realized he was an artist. He was European, Italian, jazz, piano player, keyboard player, something like that.
Wow.
So what I did, I sent him I bought like 3 tickets. I didn't get 2 because I'm a girl, he's a guy. I didn't want him to get it confused. So I sent 3 tickets to him, 2 tickets to him, to his place, because he had given me only his email address and name. So I sent 3 tickets to him, and I had the detail confirming that he got the tickets, and told him like, there's that concert at that place, you bring whoever you like, I'm gonna be there meeting you. So I went there and I was waiting for 2 hours and he didn't show up, and he showed up actually 20 minutes before the concert finished. But he started to open up and stuff, and I finally decided to make an appointment with him.
Good.
And there's a lot of things, there's a lot of up and downs, and he only wanted to buy, I wanted him to, exactly. So the best challenge I had for myself and my customer was the following. My customer dumped me.
Ooh!
Your customer what?
Because I made...
You really let your imagination go here. This is good. Keep going.
Yeah, because at the beginning I did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
So everything seemed too right for me. So at some point I realized, so no, there must be something wrong. So even though I get too close with him, I had him opening up. I made a couple of mistakes which I list in my story.
Cool.
And I had my customer getting very uncomfortable, and actually come up with a reason to ask me to give him a ride back to his apartment and just disappear. And then, for the rest of my story, I make a list of what I did right and what worked out well and what were my mistakes. And then I concentrate especially on the social media, because I begin with adding him on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, but after he dumped me, I keep on doing the same thing, calling him, emailing him, and whatever. And then I go into my business profile and I see that the same guy had made a comment and liked a post of my competitor. And not only he commented on that, he reposted. I had him as a friend, and he never liked or commented any of my posts, and he did it on my competitor. So I realized it was my mistake. I didn't blame him, I was blaming me. So I made a list of what should I do, stuff like that.
So you learned a lot. I can tell you learned a lot from
I did.
A couple things that I really liked is like, you needed to determine the way to interact with him. Whether it's Instagram or email, or call, FaceTime, whatever it might be, right? You always want to identify and figure out what the way is. A good thing that I do as a tip is you could just say, hey, how do you like to be communicated to? They will say, look, don't text me. I only do email, or call me, I'm not a text guy. So that's one good thing, is asking, and I think everyone should do that, especially in your business. How do you want to be kept in touch? You know, Joey, to call you, like everyone has their own style. And I would always say like, hey, I do phone call myself. I also do email, but like, let me know what you think is best. So that's one. The next one that I really liked is like, you actually got dumped by this person. You went through an actual scenario in your head of what it really looked like. And the thing that I really liked the most was the self-analysis. I think you probably picked up on it. You know, I did a lot of self-analysis in this class and showed you how, you know, I'm doing great, but I'm not perfect, that I'm still messing up, you know? And I even showed you my emails and all the pain that I was going through. But like, the idea is that if I'm not the first broker or the second broker, you know, I'll be the third, right? And that's kind of like the attitude that you are purchasing.
Yeah. I felt him really like cold and I don't know. And after sending him the card, even though he said, okay, I get it, but nothing like deep. So after that, I sent him another email asking, hey, after that great dinner, what do you think about the portfolio that I want to show you? And I want to know your recommendation, your necessities for your company.
I gotta kind of do that.
So HubSpot, I would do immediately. I would also, you guys remember that business center that I did? It's very basic. It's just an Excel spreadsheet with different tabs. But that organization, if you build a company, if you do it from the beginning, from scratch, you'll have a nice infrastructure to build on. Excel is very basic, and you can start with Excel, have everything there, and then upload the contacts to HubSpot for email. Yo, I don't get why you are acting like this, Mr. GoPro. I just spent a lot of money on you, and you just show off randomly. Joel's like, yeah, I get it. He knows. He's been pressing the button all class.
No, after we
What's up? All right, we're just creating content here. Yeah, we're gonna do an Instagram post. All right, what do you think is the best place for the selfie? Like this, all of us here like this?
Yeah, with the recording, yeah.
So it looks like, you know.
maybe outside.
So it looks like, you know, we know what we're doing.
You should write your name on the board.
Yeah, that's my professor.
Yeah.
He's completely nuts. Does anyone want Joel?
I have your phone number, I have your email, but I have your.
Now, talk about differentiating yourself
What do you mean?
as a professor.
That's what I'm saying, right? You gotta put in the work.
I'm a project so I don't want to follow
You hate publicity and.
I don't, yeah. So the reason I was like Instagram is like kind of memory for myself.
I like that. That's a good way of looking at Instagram.
I
Is
I
as like
don't
a
want people to follow me. Like if I don't know them, I don't want to be like
absolutely.
I don't want to be in trouble. So always I travel and I post it like later.
And then more.
So people don't know where I'm going. Otherwise, some creepy
Just
people
be
will
careful
follow.
of ex-boyfriends because I had a person I knew, he went to Hong Kong or something and he got his apartment.
That was me. Oh.
What? Apartment what?
Did you remember what he went through? Nile?
Yeah. The Instagram.
He was posting too many things that on vacation or stuff and his ex-girlfriend just broke into the apartment and took it out.
Oh my god, that's so
Ex-girlfriend.
You never know.
We
I
never know.
brought all my ex-boyfriend's contacts, so he's not.
Good. All right, let's take a selfie right here. We're gonna take a selfie.
Not my glasses.
Yeah, this looks pretty professional.
I got you, Kiki.
And then we'll take a couple just normal pictures. And I have a long arm like this.
Normal.
You guys are great. All right, we're gonna do a video. We're gonna do a video. Just a quick one on Instagram that says, everybody, it's our final class. Yeah, do present.
Do the double.
That and then present.
Here we go.
Good job. All right, ready? I'm gonna do a quick video and you guys just say hi. Stand right here, so I'm gonna go like this. All right? It's hard to believe that after, how many months?
September, first of all,
10 seconds.
Okay.
4 months.
It's hard to believe that this semester is completely over. Here are my amazing students. Everyone say thank you so much. Hey, love you guys. See you later. That's good. Thank you guys for not taking it so not being too serious about it. Life's not that serious.
Sometimes we need to be serious.
Life's not that
All of
serious.
our professors should be like this.
Yeah, it's a new ball.
Are you